Whoa, ladies and gentlemen, shit just got real. Going along with Black Panther Tier 4 is Shuri Black Panther, potentially Tier 4 as well. So yes, Chadwick and Leticia, Black Panther, the original Black Panther and the new Black Panther are both here at last. I'm very excited for this. And there's a lot of good possibilities for the game. I'm very, very excited. The sneak peek looks really cool. We'll talk about that. But yeah, we're costume inspired by Wakanda Forever. We're getting an update for this shit almost a year later. This movie dropped November 2022. This is almost 1 year later. This is one of the oldest. This is like a Green Goblin type of drop here 6+ months after the movie comes out. But yeah, very exciting. Shuri is finally ready. They finally released the embargo on this shit to suit up and become the Black Panther in her armor inspired by Marvel Studios' Black Panther Wakanda Forever. And no, we're never going to see Riri, Ironheart, Riri Williams in anything else in the suit that she is in at the end of the movie. I mean, there's no spoiler alert. Don't even. Because they're obviously waiting for the Disney Plus show for that one. But yeah, this is very hype. This is very, very hype. So after Wakanda lost their king, the lone heir to the throne stands to follow in her brother's footsteps. Brother and sister are here at last. Super, super hype. The new protector. Check out the new looks and abilities of this hero who protects her kingdom with advanced technology and the spiritual herb. The spiritual herb power. The whatever it's called, the heart-shaped herb. We will announce more information to the details later. So this is the last sneak peek. There won't be any more sneak peeks. We will be getting patch notes for those of you guys wondering. A little bit more than 24 hours from when this is posted. So this is posted Sunday night at 11. A few hours, like more than 24 hours, maybe 26, 27 hours later. So it's like in the wee hours of the morning on Tuesday, like 2, 3 a.m. on Tuesday, they'll drop the patch notes for Black Panther uniform, Black Panther Tier 4, and then Shuri Black Panther uniform, and then potentially whatever else that's going to be. Now remember, well, we'll talk. Okay, hang on. We'll talk about that. There's a lot to unpack here with Shuri, but first, let's take a look at the sneak peek itself. Oh, I have this kind of badly adjusted here, but yeah, that's the sneak peek. It's pretty straightforward. You see the purple heart, and then it pans over to Shuri in costume. She looks so good, man. We really needed this a year ago when the movie came out. Like, it really would have been hype. But I understand why. I don't know. I don't know if I understand why they didn't give us it at that time, but it is what it is kind of deal. I'm not going to complain about it now because it's here and that's really what matters. So yeah, Shuri is finally getting her much deserved look as the Black Panther. Now, as far as tier 4 teasers go, there doesn't seem to be anywhere in this video, despite all of the lines and all of the graphics and all of the potential clues and hiding spots where there could be a tier 4. Literally every frame of this video has at least a dozen spots where there could be, like there could be a tier 4 over here, right? There could be a tier 4 around the heart. There could be a tier 4 over here. There could be a tier 4 up here. There could be a tier 4 down here. There could be a tier 4 thing over here. There could be a tier 4 thing on the stairs. There could be a tier 4 thing on her armor. There could be a tier 4 thing on all these screens back here. Literally, there's so many possibilities. And if you want to believe the Copium boys over on Discord, there are plenty. If you take a look over here, at one point, if you freeze frame it, this little square of info, it actually ends up resembling a T, because the bars on the left and the bars on the right go up, but the bar in the middle stays there. So some people are, oh, this looks like a T, right? Like if you look at it here, it doesn't look like a T. It looks just like a blob or like a square, right? And here you can see it looks more like a P shape, but at this point it looks like a T. It does actually kind of look like a T. However, I do think it's coincidental because it's a T, and then what? There's one line going up. I don't know. There's two lines going down. There isn't really like a cohesive thing here. And although a lot of work is put into making these, I also think that some of this could be stock footage that's just overlaid with something else, and all these sorts of little graphics dancing up and down don't actually matter to the sneak peek necessarily because it's a stock image. And we're just sort of coping hard as viewers. But yeah, your guess is genuinely as good as mine. I've gotten pretty bad personally at spotting the tier 4 sneak peeks, and I've actually relied on you, the community, to source them lately. So I by no means am I saying there isn't going to be a Shuri tier 4. At the same time, I find it unlikely that there's going to be a Shuri tier 4, even though she won't be competing with her brother, right? Because he's a combat hero, male, and Shuri is either a speed female hero or a combat female hero. And that segues perfectly into the conversation that I want to have next, which is, as hype as I am, and I'm very hype about Black Panther, and I genuinely hope he replaces Moon Knight for ABX, and hey, maybe he'll replace somebody else for ABL, we don't know. What's more interesting, in my opinion, for Shuri, is that if she becomes the Black Panther and she becomes a combat type, so there's two, she's obviously becoming the Black Panther now, we know that. But if she remains a speed type, then this is not really an interesting topic, because really she's not going to compete with Luna, right? She's probably not going to compete with Spider-Gwen. The best they could do for her, if I had to guess, because she is relevant for PvP. She's relevant for PvP because of the Panther God's protection and countering the heavy villain meta that exists. Jean Grey, have you heard of? Gore, Thanos, Carnage, Hulk. There's so many powerful villains, not to mention now Strife added to the list. So she has been usable in PvP, even at very high levels, like something like Alliance Tournament, where the biggest of whales splash. So certainly not a meme for PvP, but certainly not bad for PvE either, and of course an exceptional support character. So there's two ways that this goes down. Way number one, she stays a speed type, and they can either keep her a support, they can amplify her support. Again, I don't see her competing with Luna, even though Luna is a seasonal paywall uniform. I understand that, but still, right? And I don't know if she can really compete with Spider-Gwen, let's be honest. So yeah, the first way is she stays a speed type, and they either make her, they lean more into the support stuff, or they make her very heavily PvP oriented. They give her iframe ignore, they give her like giga healing, you know, because the Black Panther herb does bestow its user with a lot of effects, right? It's a very powerful upgrade, you know, power-wise. That's the first option. The second option is much more exciting, and it basically means they turn her into a combat type. And the reason why I'm saying they turn into a combat type is because, of course, we know Black Panther and also Killmonger, who at some point becomes the Black Panther, they're both combat types. So the precedent right now in the game is that Black Panthers are combat types. Now, I'm not saying it's a guarantee, but if you take a look at the female, you actually can't even sort combat types here by female and male. But if you take a look at female combat types, it is woefully underrepresented. You have Crescent, who is a perennial loser and meme of the game. She-Hulk, which honestly got an amazing rework, but by today's standards, it's a little weak. And then you have Titania, right? You have a lot of great supports. Don't get me wrong. Sif is an amazing support. Valkyrie is a godly support. You have some great support types characters. You got some great memes here. Morbius, right? But seriously, in terms of Morbius, not female, but in terms of, you know, powerhouses, you don't have a powerhouse, right? Like people still literally have to use Titania, She-Hulk for ABX, and you compare that to Magneto, tier 4, just dump trucking and dumpstering your scores for like 16, 17, 18 million. Whereas Titania and She-Hulk are struggling to crack 12 million, which was the old cap, and that's now been bumped to 18. So I think there's a very real possibility they give us Shuri, Black Panther, Combat, tier 3, not tier 4. And I think she blows Titania and She-Hulk out of the water. Not only because she's newer, but also because by converting her to a combat type, you can bring her into the stage to have even more supports. Because that's the other thing. If you look at supports, combat female, yeah, you have Valkyrie and Sif, and then you have Titania's lead, right? There's not that much outside of them, and yeah, you have She-Hulk's lead. But this way, you could run a triple support team. You could run Shuri with Sif lead, potentially, and Valkyrie, right? Potentially. So that is nuts. That's an insane team. Triple support, right? Sif's leadership would apply to Shuri in that case, because Shuri would be a combat type, so she'd get the 35% physical attack, which is absolutely nutty. And then Shuri would be your main DPS, just absolutely popping off and running show as the Black Panther. That's the best case scenario. I know I'm sort of overhyping you guys here. That's the best case scenario. Worst case scenario is they just make Shuri a better support and we all collectively groan and we're like, oh yeah, whatever. However, there is still the compromise of they make her a better support and they convert her to combat, which wouldn't make her necessarily better than the She-Hulk Titania. It might still make her better than the She-Hulk Titania combo, but let's just say, for the sake of the argument, that they convert Shuri to a combat type, but they don't make her strong, so you still have to use Titania and She-Hulk for ABX. That's still very good, because it means that Shuri becomes one of the best supports in the game because of her flexibility. She can now buff, right, all combats and all speeds, as long as you're doing damage to villains, right? Because her buff applies to all allies, so it doesn't matter if you're buffing villains or heroes, as long as who you're attacking is a villain. So I think there's a lot of possibilities and there's a lot of flavor here for Shuri. I cannot wait to see how amazing her skills are going to look. I would love to put her on a team with her brother and just have the two of them just shred content. I really wish M'Baku would get like a stealth Transcendence this update, even if he got nothing else and like just the Transcendence, just so you could use the three of them on a team together in actual like real endgame content. We may have to settle for something like ABX or ABL to test that, or to sort of simulate that, but I'm still really happy to see the Wakanda Forever, the Black Panther characters getting love, because historically they have been done so dirty in this game, dating all the way back to Black Panther, but even recently, you know, Namor was really the star of that show, and there was no Black Panther for the movie last year. There was no Shuri Black Panther for the movie last year, so I am really grateful and happy that they're finally making amends. They're a little late, but late, it's better late than never. So yeah, hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you think. Shuri, tier 3, tier 4, Black Panther, baby. It's coming. Get hype. I know I am. Thank you so much for watching. Smash the like button, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.